Hey guys, so finally we are here. It's been a very long day. I know I'm late on this, but unfortunately it's just the way it is. We're gonna go ahead and break down the LF cooler as well as the new EX Salsa or Thouser, whatever you want to call him. We also do have a Zenkai uppercut Goku, the blue Super Saiyan Goku from the Broly movie, Broly ZBZ movie 8. Very surprising that they decided to throw him out there today, but yeah, we're gonna go over him as well. And we got some equipment to talk about as well, so there's a lot to unpack here. Let's just start right away with Cooler. I'm not going to spend too much time on the other characters. I think I'm going to mainly focus on this guy. So Cooler, he is red, thank the heavens. He's red. Melee type, a little bit unfortunate for Eloise specifically, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at his stats here. So if you pump him up to 14 stars, these are his stats without the title bonus. Okay? So he's going to be over 270,000 strike attack. And he'll be over 170,000 strike defense, and he'll be like 167, 168 to blast defense. This guy's stats are monstrous. 270 to main offensive stat from a non-Zenkai, non-Ultra character. That's crazy. That is ridiculous. So, of course, he holds 2 strike cards because he's a strike-oriented character. 20% of strike damage inflicted for 2 counts when used. Now, this guy is on Lineage of Evil, Powerful Opponent, and Sagas from the movies. I feel like he'll be extremely good on every single one of those teams. And honestly, you'll probably be able to throw this guy in the leader slot of like any team, and he'll be pretty good. All right, let's take a look at his actual cards here. So the strike has Blast Armor. The Blast card has Strike Damage Up. So inflicts all enemies. All enemies. That is crazy for a Blast card effect to have this. All enemies. With attribute downgrade plus 10% to strike damage received for 15 counts. That is a really good effect. Really, really good effect. The blue card is the Death Flash. Deals massive impact damage, 25% to special move damage inflicted for 3 timer counts upon activation. Shortens ally sub count by 3 on hit, and then blast armor when charging forward. The reason why this is good is because we already know that this guy has a stop time green card, so you can combo the stop time green card in mid range with a potential blue card follow up. Because if you see the exclamation point, you just press the blue card, right? So the green card seems pretty good too. Draws a strike card next, restores ki by 40. 20% to damage inflicted, and then he also gains extra damage to special move cards specifically from this as well. So even more synergy between the stop time green card and the blue card there. The ultimate is the Death Glider. It deals massive impact damage. That's the only thing I've seen so far from this guy's kit that isn't really the best that it could possibly be. Is he doesn't have supreme damage, he has massive damage. I think they probably gave him massive damage for a reason. They probably tested supreme and thought it was too good. It's fine. Applies the following effects to self upon activation. 40% ultimate damage inflicted for 3 counts. Applies attribute upgrade minus 50% to enemy sustained damage cut effects for 3 counts. Additional plus 30% to ultimate damage inflicted for 3 counts if enemy's remaining health is 50% or below. Nullifies blast arts when charging forward. So this has the effect where he doesn't even take damage from, I guess, blast armoring through blast cards, because it basically acts as if it's a Rising Rush and he takes no damage from flying through blast cards. But the extra 30% ultimate damage I think is going to be very important. I'll come back to this later because there's another effect that I think pairs up really well with that. Okay, look at this main ability. I am the Great Destroyer, the Taker of Life. Randomly destroys one of your own cards and draws the ultimate arts card Death Glider next. So he heals by 25% and he gains 40 ki. He gets card draw speed for 20 counts. Then he nullifies enemies, restores health when it reaches 0 effect when this character attacks for 20 timer counts. So this is sort of the red merge Zamasu effect, where instead of him having the endurance nullification ability tied to his ultimate, it's actually tied to his main ability, which is nice because it gives him a full 20 counts of having that effect active. So if you're fighting a character, let's just, I don't know, I can't really think of one on the top of my head, but like, let's say you're fighting Blue Topo, who has endurance. And obviously, you're not going to be able to like one-shot a blue character with endurance a lot of the time. So instead, you opt to pop the main ability and then rush, right? Instead of using the ultimate on them. So that could come in handy in situations like that. We'll see what kind of characters they're going to implement moving forward. But I would not be surprised if we got some different characters that are like really powerful blue characters that could have like endurance and stuff like that. All right, so he nullifies the buff effect, applies the buff effect, nullifies enemies' special actions that activate when changing cover to self for 20 counts. So he gets Cover nullification for 20 counts on main ability, which is good. That is good. Z ability is 3% to strike arts damage inflicted by movies. Okay, which again is going to apply to the whole team no matter what team you're on as long as he's in the leader slot. Then he gives 38% to both strike and blast attack to Lineage of Evil, Powerful Opponent, and Sagas from the movies. That's good. Very good Z ability. All right, so the first unique ability is Overwhelmingly Superior Strength. So this guy is doing 20% to damage inflicted against tag Super Saiyan. So just right off the bat, he's doing extra damage to Super Saiyans. The following effects occur when battle starts. So he's 90% to damage inflicted, cannot be canceled. Reduces damage received by 55%. Okay. That's like, I guess, the only spot I could say that I would have liked to seen 60% reduced damage received. That's like the first slight nitpick I have about his kit. So he gets an extra 40% to strike damage inflicted, cannot be canceled. So this is interesting because he has two instances of damage when he enters when the battle starts, right? He has a baseline of 90%, which is all damage, and then he's getting a different instance of 40% to strike damage. So I think this is I mean, it's obviously good that he has this, but it's not particularly good for his placement on LOE because of how blast heavy the LOE team is. And even the next effect as well, 15% to strike damage inflicted by allies other than this character. So he's supporting. He's giving 15% of strike damage to the whole team that's not himself, which is not really going to benefit the LOE team too much because of how little strike attack they're actually doing. But here's the thing with this. Eventually, they're going to have to create... Well, they don't have to, but I imagine at some point they will be weaving in other LOE characters that are not blast-based, right? So starting the trend of strike-based LOE characters with a character like this, with how strong he is and with how good this guy is going to be, like, I feel like this is fine. Right, it's fine. He has other teams you can use him on as well, Powerful Opponent in movies. And the second we get a second powerful strike-based LOE character, they're going to be like a ridiculous combo together on LOE. At that point, you're looking really, really strong. So it's a stepping stone, I think, to get LOE onto the path of being able to actually run a strike-based variant of the team. And this is a really, really nice first step for that. Applies the following effects to self when this character enters the battlefield. So he gets 30 ki. He's changing all the blast cards in his hand to strike cards, and he has card draw speed. So basically, when you're popping the main ability, you're getting double card draw speed for 20 counts. That's really strong. Plus, not only are you getting double card draw speed, but you're also getting nullification and special cover changes for 20 counts. So you're not going to be able to have your combo get interrupted. Then here's the effect I wanted to highlight. He's getting 50% to the next strike arts damage inflicted. Cannot be stacked. So we'll come back to that in a second because there's a third ability that I want to talk about. And I think they specifically were looking at these effects together and they're like, okay, this is how we want you to use this character. He's getting reduces next damage sustained by 15%, cannot be stacked. So that is going to be applicable on top of the 55% damage at this when entering the battlefield. So he should be fairly tanky. I'm not going to call him like a tank because, again, in this game right now, the way that this game is going, there's really no character that can actually legitimately tank hits, right? Defense doesn't really exist anymore, unfortunately. But he should be able to at least survive a few hits before just dying, so that's good. Now, this is interesting right here. Nullifies own unfavorable element factor for 10 counts if there is a Super Saiyan enemy battle member. There are a lot of very good Super Saiyan characters in the game. One of them is Ultra Gogeta. Guess what typing Ultra Gogeta is? Blue. So, he enters the battlefield. He gets type neutrality. This is entering the battlefield, right? Yeah, enters the battlefield, gets 10 counts with type neutrality. He could legitimately just destroy Ultra Gogeta, right? This is you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Purple Broly when he first came out. Like, you legitimately could not counter Purple Broly with a yellow character because of that effect. Now, obviously, this is only applicable to the enemy if they're using Super Saiyans, but Super Saiyan is a pretty common tag, and I think they don't want Bardock running around for much longer. So this is one of the reasons why they added this. And I say this, but Bardock's going to be around longer than this cooler is probably because of how stupid that ability is. All right, so applies the following effects to self when enemy switches characters while this character is on the battlefield. He draws a strike card and gets 20 ki. This is... Dude. So he has card draw speed, right? He can have double card draw speed from his main ability, and he's gaining extra cards when the enemy switches characters, and he's gaining ki, and his green card gives him extra strike cards. This guy's never going to run out of cards. It's like ridiculous. All right, now it's his first unique ability. Let's go on to the second unique ability. Intensifying Onslaught. So he knocks enemies back to long range of cover changes performed against their strike card. So he has a strike cover change. Very nice. I think one of the things LOE is lacking in as a team are just cover changes in general. Full Power Frieza has one, but other than him, I mean, you have the LF First Form Frieza that has a strike cover change, and now this Cooler has a cover change. So you could technically run a triple LOE setup where all 3 characters have cover changes now, which is actually really good. You have 1 blast cover change and 2 strike cover changes, which is nice. Applies the following effects itself. Once 50 timer counts have elapsed from battle start. So once that timer hits 130 counts remaining in the match, you'll be able to get the following effects. 15% to damage inflicted, applies attribute upgrade, minus 15% to enemy sustained damage cut effects. That is actually pretty important because this is going to stack on top of the ultimate minus 50% right here. So that's really good. Then he gets minus 5 to strike and blast arts cost, as if this guy needs a way to combo any longer than he already can. Applies the following effects to self every time this character uses a strike arts card. He's healing by 4%, restoring ki by 5, and giving himself 10% damage, so more damage buffs. Let me actually just pull up Super Saiyan 3 Goku real quick, the Dragon Fist one. I want to compare this, because this is basically the same kind of effect that Dragon Fist has. So Dragon Fist is getting 3% HP, 5 ki, and 10% damage for 10 counts. So this Cooler is actually getting more buffs than Dragon Fist is per card used. But the only difference is this guy's only getting this for strike card use, whereas Dragon Fist is getting that for strike or blast. But it doesn't really matter because this Cooler is changing his entire hand to strikes anyway. So, and then the final effect here is the one I really want to highlight because I think this is what's going to define this character. And this is what makes this character feel unique, and no other character is able to do this. The following effects occur upon landing a strike arts hit. Destroys all of your enemy's special cards. So that's green cards, special arts cards, all their green cards. He destroys them all, which is nice, especially for fighting that annoying red-red-purple team with Whis. Reduces enemy ki by 40. I don't really know how much that matters because you're just going to be able to get the ki back. I don't like effects like that. Like the only time that effect actually matters is when you're destroying enemy ki, but you're also destroying their ki restore as well. Those two paired together makes it very annoying to deal with, but when you're just killing ki like this, I don't think it matters that much. Inflicts all enemies with 2 subcounts. So what that means, and this is an effect that resets when the character switches. So you use Cooler, you attack an enemy with the strike card, it afflicts all enemies with 2 subcounts. When you switch out and then go back into Cooler again, this effect will activate again once until he switches out and comes back in again. So in case you guys aren't aware of what this means, so he inflicts all enemies with 2 subcounts. So let's say you're fighting, I don't know, the annoying Saiyan team with Ultra Super Vegeta UI Goku and Dragon Fist Goku. If the enemy is switched in to Dragon Fist Goku, and let's say he has 5 counts remaining to switch into Vegito, and 7 counts remaining to switch into Dragon Fist Goku, or switch into UI Goku, if you hit the Dragon Fist Goku with a strike card, Vegito's subcount will now go up to 7, and UI subcount will now go up to 9. So it's increasing the subcounts of both the characters on standby, which means they're going to have to wait a longer period of time to switch them in. Now, here's where things get really, really annoying when you're fighting this character. If you're switched in with a unit, and you can switch out to either one of your other 2 characters, if either one of your standby units is able to switch into the battlefield currently, and they have 0 on their sub count, Cooler hits you with a strike card, they're going to automatically gain 2 subcounts. So basically, you're effectively locked into the battlefield for 2 counts. Now, the reason why this is important is because I think this is very obviously how they plan for you to use this character. There's 3 effects throughout this entire kit that I think is going to make this Cooler really annoying to fight against. The first one is this one. The ability to lock in the enemy for 2 counts when you hit them with a strike card. So basically how this works is you hit them with the strike card, you're going to lock them in. That strike card that you hit them with is going to be dealing 50% extra damage because of this effect right here. 50% to next strike card's damage inflicted, right? So basically you're locking them in with a strike card that's dealing 50% extra damage. And if that strike card, by the way, you can be going type neutral, by the way, too, if you're fighting a Super Saiyan team. If that strike card brings the enemy below 50% HP, you pop the main ability, and you hit them with this ultimate, which is going to gain an extra 30% damage if the enemy's below 50% HP, which is basically going to kill them because they can't switch. They're locked in. So I think the combo of hitting a character with the strike card, with the extra 50% damage, getting them below half HP, and then using the main and then hitting them with the ultimate, is pretty much just going to kill anyone you hit, right? I don't know of any character that's really going to be able to survive this, especially if you're going type neutral. So this is going to be the thing that makes him really annoying. And then don't forget, you can lock in multiple times per fight. And let's say you kill somebody with the lock into the ultimate. The next time you lock somebody in, you lock them in, and you just rush. So this character is going to be very annoying to fight against. I'm telling you right now, but he's looking really good. They were on crack when they designed this unit. He's ridiculous. I'm looking at this guy's kit, and I'm actually getting like similar vibes that I got when the androids were revealed. That's how ridiculous this guy looks to me. So we'll see. Let's talk about Thouser. I actually haven't even looked at this guy at all yet. So if we bring him up to 14, which is impossible for everyone that plays this game, he's a melee type character. Okay, so his stats are kind of eh. He's an EX. He's only on sagas from the movies. Oh boy. He has no tags. Okay, let's see. Normal strike, normal blast. The blue card is Thouser Blade. Looks like it is a lunging forward blue card, no blast armor. 20% damage inflicted for 15 counts. 100% chance to inflict heavy bleed. Okay. The green card is Fighting Pose. Stop time green card, heals and gives key. Okay, pretty good. Randomly draws one new card. 30% of damage inflicted for 25 timer counts. Cannot be stacked. He gets card draw speed. Okay, for 25 counts, cannot be stacked. And then 10% of damage inflicted by allies. It's actually a really good green card. It's doing a lot. Drawing you a card and giving you card draw speed and healing you and giving you key and supporting and destroying cards. That's a lot. This is a really good green card. Okay. All right. So the main ability is draws a green. Oh, you actually force draws green cards. Okay, that's really good considering how good that green card was. So he's a team heal of 20% HP, 40 key back, cancels allies attribute downgrades and normal conditions, reduces enemy Dragon Balls by 2. That's very annoying. Z ability, so he's 35% to Saga moves or Lineage of Evil. Base strike attack, and they gave Thouser a Lineage of Evil Z ability just because he actually has no teams. Okay, so strike attack and defense. All right, unique ability number 1 is Undying Loyalty. Applies the following effects to self when battle starts. 70% of damage inflicted, and then reduces damage received by 50%. Would have liked it to be 60%, but sure. Especially because he's an EX. And most of the time, you're going to have this character at like 1 star. if you have him at all. Following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield, draws a special card next, activates once. So he actually can draw multiple green cards. That is really good considering how good this green card is. So he draws a green card through his first unique ability and through his main ability. Okay. 40% of strike damage. 40%? That is so bad. What? 40? Well, actually, no, because he gets 70%. I thought, okay, yeah, no, that's not that bad. Because he's getting 70% baseline. Yeah, it's not that bad. Okay. I was like, 40%, that's it? No, but it's on top of the 70. Okay, so he's actually going to be at like 110% to strike attack, which is actually not that bad. 60% to own key recovery, and then reduces enemy key by 30. Reducing enemy key by 30 on entry is actually pretty interesting because it works on cover change. So you can like kind of interrupt the enemy's combo. Plus, randomly draws at most 2 new cards when you have 3 or fewer cards if Cooler is a battle member. That is really strong. That is actually a really, really powerful 2 cards. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys at this point know how powerful it is to enter the battlefield and just draw a card, like, guaranteed. This guy draws 2. That is strong. That is strong. All right, so the next unique ability, 20% of strike damage inflicted against all characters except Cooler. Okay, so that's more. So he's basically getting 65% strike damage. So what is that, 135% strike damage? Okay. The following effects occur when his character is switched to standby. 15% to damage inflicted by allies. Okay, so he's supporting as well through this, as well as the green card effect. 10% of special move awakened and ultimate damage inflicted by allies. Okay, that's pretty specific. For 10 counts, that's pretty short. And then 30% to allies' health restoration. Okay. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 15% of strike damage received. That is pretty good as well. And then inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 20% of damage received when this character is defeated. That looks like it's an uncancelable buff, but it doesn't say uncancelable. but it's permanent because there's no timer counts on that. So this guy actually seems pretty decent. I don't think he's that bad. The only problem is going to be his stats because of him being an EX. So yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the Zenkai for Goku, the blue Broly movie Goku. Where he's the lowest. He's the lowest power level here. Okay, I'm gonna go through this fairly quickly. Let's just knock this out here. All right. So what are his stats looking like? Can I click the button? Thank you. He's a melee type. Yeah, offense is not really looking too good. Defense is kind of, standard. These are the kind of defense stats I would expect from a Zenkai. Offensively, he's yeah. Okay. Normal. Blue card is massive damage. I'm pretty sure that wasn't massive damage before. Upon activation, he gets 50% of special move power for 15 counts, and it nullifies endurance, and it has blast armor. That's a fairly good blue card. This is going to hit pretty hard. Okay, nice. The green card, entrusted power. Okay, nice. It's giving him key, a stop time effect. And then it enhances the next special move card used based on the number of remaining allies. So last man standing is getting 50%. Plus he also already has a 50% buff from using the card. Okay, it's not... I wouldn't... Actually, hold on. It doesn't say cannot be stacked, huh? Technically, it doesn't say cannot be stacked. What if you just use oops, there's the cord. What if you just use Whis next to this unit? What if you use a team of Whis and Yajirobe next to this Goku, and you just stack the hell out of this green card the entire fight, and then you just nuke the enemy with one blue card? Can you do that? It doesn't say cannot be stacked. It doesn't say it. Okay. Well, I guess we'll test that out. Draws a blue card with his main ability, restore key by 30. 35% to own key recovery, minus 15 to own special move arts cost. 30% to special move damage inflicted against character Broly. Was that on his kit already? I think it probably was, but let me just make sure, because if that wasn't already on his kit, that's a dead giveaway we're going to be getting a Broly at some point soon here. Let me see if I can't even find him. All right, yeah, this is him, I think. He's literally the lowest character in here. Wait, no, this isn't him. Dude, I can't even find him. It's not loading. Okay, here he is. I got him. All right, so his main ability, yeah, he already had that. That exact effect, that 30% special move damage against Broly was already a part of his kit. That probably was to help fight against Blue Broly back in the day, who was a monster. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Zenkai ability, I assume, is going to be blue movies, right? Yeah, blue movies. Okay, that makes sense. Only problem is his Z ability is really bad. 25% to Saiyan base strike defense. That is not good. Not good. All right, so falling effects to self when this character enters the battlefield. If there is a defeated battle member, he draws a green card next. 30% damage. Reduces damage received by 10%. All right, that's a pretty low amount of buffs for a dead ally existing. All right, next. 60% damage inflicted. Okay, it's not bad for a Zenkai character. Reduced damage received by 30%. Okay. Falling effects self when this character enters the battlefield. And then he gets an extra 20% strike damage. And then minus 5 to strike and blast arts cost. Okay. That's not bad. He gets 80% strike damage from this one unique ability. Plus he's getting 30% when there's a dead ally. I'll take that. That's not bad. Limit breaking battle applies the following effects to self if there are 2 episode sagas from the movie's battle members other than this character in the party when battle starts. He restores own health by 20%. Only once when he has endurance. Okay. This wording is interesting. Applies the following effects to self if there are 2 episodes of Saga from the movie's battle members. Oh, it's battle members. Okay, because it says in the party, which I don't know if I've ever seen that wording before, but okay, so it has to be, you have to just be using them. But he gets endurance and he gets 35% to key recovery. Applies the following effects to enemy every time they use an arts card while this character is in the battlefield. Inflicts attribute downgrade, minus 30% to key recovery, and then minus 1 to arts card draw speed level for 2 timer counts. That could be really annoying, specifically against Super Vegito. That's pretty good. All right, and then Showdown with a Legend is the final unique ability. Applies the following effects to enemy every 5 timer counts when this character is in the battlefield. Plus 10% of damage received for 30 counts, and then minus 10% to critical rate. This guy seems okay. I think endurance is good enough to actually make him viable pretty much just whenever you want. But he's not going to be... I don't think this is a character that you're going to be like, oh my god, like I actually managed to fight with a good character using this unit. I don't think so. But I'm interested in seeing, like, can you actually stack this green card effect? Because it doesn't say cannot be stacked. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the equipment that they added in this update. I believe there are quite a few. Let's go here. Equipment. No, not Equipment Awakening. Well, there is a new Awakened equipment we'll take a look at, but let's go over here. As you guys saw, I already have some of the new equipment because I had time to farm it up. Okay, where is the first new piece of equipment? Okay, so the first one we have is this over here, which is a new unique equipment for red sagas from the movies, obviously meant to be used on the new cooler. 10% special move damage, 35% to strike defense, and 35% to strike attack. Just a pretty basic looking equipment, but it's very good. The stats are high, and it's basic, but it's very good. Next, we have a unique equipment for BARDOCK. I will come back to that. I will return to the BARDOCK unique equipment last. Okay, this is the new Awakened equipment. So this is ridiculous. Sagas from the movies and Lineage of Evil. So I'm trying to think. I guess any kind of Dragon Ball Super Broly movie Frieza, any cooler is going to have this metal cooler as well. And then I don't think we actually have this in the game yet, but a movie version of Golden Frieza from Resurrection F will be able to use this. I don't know why they don't want to release like movie versions of Golden Frieza. Also, like Battle of Gods, we don't have like movie versions of Beerus or God Goku, which is strange. But base strike attack and health restoration by 10%. By the way, health restoration is going to be a pretty important stat for the cooler, considering he's healing 4% per strike card used. Very similar to Dragon Fist Goku. I think Dragon Fist Goku benefits a lot from health restoration. 12% HP, and then an extra 15% to strike attack and 15% to base strike defense. This is a very, very strong equipment. Total of 25% strike attack, 10% HP restoration, 12% HP, and 15% strike defense. This is, I would go as far as to say is this is probably a must use on cooler. This is really good. I will be farming up 3 of these probably. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room here, which is this. I've heard about enough of your stupid crap. Yeah, that's about how I feel about these kinds of equipments at this point. So let's go over the equipment first, and then I'll give my thoughts on this. So this is LF BARDOCK's unique equipment, the character that has not returned a single time and released in January of this year. So he's getting 35% to strike and blast defense in slot 1. He's getting 35% to blast and strike attack in slot 2, and 40% to damage inflicted. Just for reference, I'm going to pull up the other, I would consider, the other best equipments that I consider to be the best in the game, which are Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's equipment and LF Cell's equipment. And then I'll pull up Jiren's as well, because I think Jiren's is pretty good. All right, so by the way, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's equipment is giving 35% inflicted damage. So this is actually giving more of a buff than Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's equipment did. It's giving the same base strike and blast attack buff, by the way. So yeah, this equipment is giving more of a damage buff than Gogeta's equipment is. Obviously not counting the revival effect from slot 3. All right. Cell's equipment is giving 20% to inflicted damage. So this is giving double, actually more than double the damage of the Cell equipment, because this is giving 35% to the base offenses, whereas Cell's is giving 25%. And then Jiren's is giving 25% to inflicted damage in slot 3. So it's not even close to this. Jiren, you know what Jiren's is doing? Jiren's slot 3 is giving 40% to damage inflicted, but it's relying on the enemy rushing first. So you're going to have basically the full effect of Jiren's equipment with 1/3 of the slot 2 buff. Okay. Slot 3, you're getting 15% HP. You're restoring own health by 5%, restoring own ki by 30, and randomly drawing 1 new card when you have 3 or fewer cards when the enemy switches characters while this character's in the battlefield. This is literally like a portion of a unique ability on here. And I think characters are going to be a lot more inclined to switch against Bardock now that he's grabbing... Why'd the music stop? Oh, there it is. Okay. Now that he's grabbing all these offensive buffs from this equipment. 40% damage inflicted and then 35% to base offenses. That is a lot of damage. So you're probably going to make a lot of enemies switch versus Bardock. You're drawing a card, you're getting key back, you're healing. Like this is going to change. This is going to change Bardock a lot. This I would assume, just basing preliminary my preliminary judgment call based off of this equipment alone by looking at it without using it yet. I would say this is the best equipment in the game, I think. But here's my issue with this, right? Basically what's happening is this is them easily, like by far, this is them admitting that like, okay, yeah, Bardock was made way too weak. And that is completely their fault. That is their fault for making Bardock as bad as he was. Number two, they didn't bring him back at all, right? And then number three, basically with them admitting by the release of this equipment that Bardock was made to be way too weak, because they wouldn't have made this equipment as good as it is for a character that's not even 8 months old, if they didn't think Bardock was underpowered. But from their mistake of making Bardock underpowered, they are now forcing us to invest our resources on this equipment to make him better. What is that? I would understand this a little bit better if if this was a unique equipment for like LF Rose, right? LF Rose is a character that I think was fairly solid on release, I think fairly underrated on release. He's been out since, I believe he came out in March of 2021, so he's basically a year and a half old at this point. If they released a unique equipment for LF Rose, I would be like, okay, like I understand you wanting us to invest resources into getting this equipment, because it's a buff for a character that has had their time to shine and now they are worthy of getting a buff because they've fallen off. Bardock never had a chance to be good. Bardock was terrible. I don't know if I want to call him terrible, but he was, compared to every single other LF character that basically ever come out, he might be the worst ever release of an LF unit. Like he was really underwhelming when he came out. And their correction to making him that bad is they want us to do the work and invest the resources into this. Like, I think in this situation specifically, they should have just given us this equipment like fully rolled. Because it's their fault for making Bardock unusable on release. And they know, like, it's not a coincidence that they never brought Bardock back. Like, there's a reason for that. So it's very clearly a very shady thing that they're doing here with this equipment, but this is definitely a massive buff to this Bardock. So looks like that is everything we got for this update. I'm going to go and jump into the banner for Cooler because the banner is live. Let me know below what you guys think of everything we talked about. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one.